Good morning, everyone. It's the All About Nothing podcast kind of daily show. I am Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast with Zach King. You can find us on social media. You can find me
Ooh, is
at
Bill
Bear.
Fry been officially dropped?
Well, no, but we are
Uh,
we are. It's and I don't know what Bill's role is going to be as we go forward because he does have work that sometimes would potentially interfere with our recording
yeah.
schedule, and so that does tend to like we've got
I
lead
just
jobs.
worry if you diss him like that, he's not going to provide you the snow cones to your recording sessions that you have been accustomed to. So I get worried.
Things I'm accustomed to and things that I deserve, they aren't always the same, and it's taken a long time for me to recognize that.
Understood.
You can follow me on social media at Barrett Gruber. This is Bill Kimler, host of Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jameel Brooks. You can follow him at politicalbillsc. Recording here on a Tuesday morning. How was your weekend, Bill?
Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember it at all.
You don't remember?
It's Tuesday. It's
You,
weekend was so far in the past. Who can
you
remember what transpired?
you don't remember anything about Superman or? Uh,
Oh my gosh, yes, thank you. Yeah, now I the trauma is back.
Tell me.
Have you seen it yet?
I did. I did.
Okay.
I mean, it felt like it felt like a gun movie. Like it had sort of that feel to it. I didn't think it was bad. I enjoyed it, but I also watched Jurassic Park this weekend.
Ooh.
So I had the two to sort of balance each other out. And I will say this, Jurassic World Rebirth is quite a bit of a stretch because nothing about it felt like there was any sort of a rebirth. And there were elements to the movie that they just did not make any sense. Like at one point,
I just want to caution you before you go off into this. If you criticize a movie, you might receive death threats online. I'm just letting you know from my weekend experience. You
I
say
had
anything negative about somebody's favorite film, that'll trigger them.
I had
So
a
just
I had
proceed with
my
caution.
I had my yearly doctor's appointment yesterday, and she told me I've got a good 240 years left. So but yeah, so Jurassic World, there were things about it that didn't make sense. This was an island that was on the Atlantic, because they took off out of French, whatever, French Guinea or something like that, on the Atlantic side of South America. Um, so you've never experienced this island before. Basically, it was an island that was set up just as a laboratory to
I'm sure it
create.
looks so different from all the other islands in all the previous films, right? It was a very distinctive looking island.
You have a hard time making Hawaii look different.
Right.
You're in Hawaii. You're in Hawaii. Not me. I've never been there. But so it, but like, so it takes place on this new island. It happens 30 something years after 1996, after the first one, which puts it, like either like what is 36 years from 96? You're 2032
God
or
damn it.
something.
It
Yeah,
is
2032.
it's 5:30 in the morning and you're going to be throwing math questions my way.
Well, and so, but like it's 17 years after the last park closed. Like there's so many things. So now we know why Chris Pratt and Howard Johnson, Reese, what's her name? Whatever. Howard. Anyway, yeah, that's gonna
Bryce
Bryce
Howard?
Howard. Yeah, Bryce Howard. Howard
Yeah.
Johnson's hotel thing.
I, boy, you know what? There is an argument to be made. We should not be doing this show this early and let the
Probably.
brain warm up.
So now we know why Bryce Howard and Chris Pratt are not in it, is because they've aged out according to the timeline.
Right.
Um, but so but the family, so like there's a family, two kids with one of them's boyfriends with them. Obviously they're both 16 and younger. They're all 16 and younger, but at one point, like the older daughter is inappropriately in a wet t-shirt the whole time. The boyfriend apparently of her, who is completely lazy, and you want him for the most part to get eaten, survives. And I don't know, like one of the shocking things is he's got two dinosaurs that are literally tearing each other apart behind him while he's peeing, and somehow he doesn't turn around to look almost at all. But it has like this 2-minute pee that somehow he stops himself in the middle of, and then when the dinosaurs run off, he goes back to peeing. It's you have the T-Rex. The T-Rex is almost always the savior in every one of these Jurassic Park movies, and they didn't use the T-Rex as the savior. It's like, I don't know, it just didn't match up to the way that Jurassic Park normally flows.
Well, there's two things here. One, directed by Gareth Edwards, who directed, I believe, the Godzilla films, at least this next generation of Godzilla films, which weren't bad.
No, those are good.
They were entertaining. And how do you mess up a dinosaur film?
There's a formula.
You basically created some really good films about the world's biggest dinosaur ever, and now you've got a whole island of dinosaurs. You can't pull that off. But secondly, is the lazy story writing. Like at this point, this is your 71st Jurassic Park film. All right, so this is you have an opportunity to do something new. And where are the dinosaurs running amok through South Carolina, interrupting people's lives?
Oh,
like
they haven't.
That's what the previous films teased was going to happen.
Yeah.
Is dinosaurs amok in our world, not on some island where you can contain your story, but rather in the heart of America, or if any other country. I really don't care. Right? Throw them into Vietnam, throw those dinosaurs into China, let them run amok. You want to see something different and push the boundary. That was my complaint with the Alien films. The first Alien, groundbreaking. The second one, Aliens, man, they really upped it up with the U.S. Space Marines versus a whole bunch of these alien creatures and a big battle at the end. Man, that you pushed it to the next level. But then every film after that regressed. It was back to the same form. Even Alien Romulus was contained on a ship and people running around, and you get a couple of scare scenes. I want to see aliens running amok on Earth. Let's really up the ante and do something different. They didn't. It's very disappointing.
The Predator movie, where I think was it just Prey? I think what it was, Prey, the one that goes back in time. I thought that one was exceptional.
Oh, and the next one coming out. Have you seen the previews for that?
Yeah.
Like I've not been a big Predator person, and I could really care less about the Schwarzenegger timeline.
Sure.
But Prey was amazing because it was different. Native American. She was deaf too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Amazing setup and very plausible as you watch the film. But this next one, which is going to be on a Predator world, wow, that looks incredible. Okay, very different. I love it.
Yeah. Now, Jurassic Park. I've enjoyed all of them. Even the last one, prior to this one, where you brought back Sam Neill and Gutenberg.
It was okay.
Not Gutenberg.
I mean, the idea of Chris Pratt training some dinosaurs to be like his buddies.
It's a bit of a stretch.
That's a good storyline. I like that. That was different anyway, right? It was different. I don't think the end result was great, but it was different. I give them applause. But even that one where they brought Sam Neill back was just a rehash.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything boundary pushing there. Now the Superman film, I have to give credit, was very different from what we've seen in the past 30 years. Very different. I have never been so bored in a movie in a long time. I found it boring. First of all, I really didn't like the Superman persona this time around. So that character was more of a, hey, dude, let's go hang, and it resonated with a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. I see the Rotten Tomatoes reviews from critics in the audience. I've seen it online. People love it. My own daughter wrote me and she says she thought the film was great. Okay, so I'm not dismissing anybody else's opinion. I was falling asleep throughout. I was just terribly bored by this film because I never felt there were real stakes. I never felt anybody had any deep emotion. It didn't have any gravitas that you want to get from a superhero film, I think, like Superman. And maybe Zack Snyder corrupted me. And
Yeah.
maybe he didn't do the best job, but I really felt he brought gravitas and seriousness to that genre where the action was great. I thought the effects were great. Maybe the storyline wasn't all the best, but I felt like I was watching something very different. Here, I felt like I was watching a kid's cartoon. Like that's what it felt like. It felt like my after school kids cartoon where it's just flying and punching and maybe some quips and I disagree. I didn't feel like it was your typical James Gunn film because you look at the Guardians of the Galaxy films. I felt there was emotional depth to those films.
Yeah.
I felt, even Volume 3, like there was emotional points right at the very beginning with just with all the personal issues and the family dynamics. I felt there was reality there. This one was just, I felt like everybody was just being dumb. I felt it was dumb. And oh, look, something's about to destroy the city. And look, the buildings are toppling. And yet people are evacuating the city in single file line in a calm manner.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like any of it was real. And yeah, I get it. It's fiction and it's a superhero film and it's metahumans. But unless you're grounded somehow, you're not going to be involved. And then I also have some plot point issues, but you had a different take. You said you saw it and you seemed like you liked it.
So I generally try not to judge movies on the content of them very often.
Oh, why would you dare judge a movie on the content of it? I mean, what kind of crazy talk is that?
Yeah, no kidding. Jurassic World was one of the first ones in a long time that I've watched and had a reaction to it that basically was I feel like they really just threw something together. Like it didn't it just had so many issues. Previous to that, I watched The Amateur, which with the guy that played Freddie Mercury. I can't remember his name, but The Amateur was good. I enjoyed The Amateur.
Remy Malek?
Yeah, Remy Malek. He's a fantastic actor.
I saw him in that TV series about the hacker. God, what was the name of that show? He was like this super hacker for like 4 or 5 seasons. A really good show. The name escapes me, but that's where I first saw him.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then I saw the Liam Neeson movie with Ice Road Vengeance.
Oh,
which
I thought maybe you'd gotten a preview of the new Naked Gun film.
No.
Which I will be going to see, by the way.
Yeah,
absolutely. I feel like remaking that was a disrespect to the original material because I love those Naked Gun films. And even before that, the TV series Police Squad, I remember watching that as a kid and laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. And it was probably the funniest thing I'd ever seen. And to do a remake of it felt opportunistic, but then I saw the previews.
Yeah.
And some of the jokes they had, I mean, if those are the only jokes and they just threw it all into the previews, all right, I'm going to be disappointed. But
sure.
If the rest of the film is like that preview, I'm going to be in for a good time. And I can't think of a film I've gone to see that was funny because I thought it would be really good to see in the theater, right? Rather than waiting to watch it on streaming or what have you. Like back in the 90s and 80s, like you would go to a funny film because you wanted to laugh in a theater full of people, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, what's the last film you can remember being at in the theater that had you cracking up throughout? Very few.
Yeah, because I don't think that I don't think I go see many comedies in the theater anymore.
Right. Like I used to, I would go pay tickets to see the Naked Gun films, all of them, all the way to Naked Gun 33 1/3. I went to the theater for that. And then There's Something About Mary. Man, there was nothing like seeing that film in a packed house. And then the last one I can remember going to see purely for comedy were the 2 films, Borat and Bruno.
See, I didn't see those in the theater.
My God, the theater experience. People had snot dripping out their nose and crying so hard laughing. I mean, it was the greatest experience to see that in the theater. But that was what, 15 years ago. I mean, they don't make films that are that funny anymore, intentionally funny. There's rom-coms now, but you don't get funny films.
Yeah.
Unless Jurassic Park was a comedy and I just missed the genre there.
It didn't feel like a comedy. It felt much less like a comedy and more like Me pointed out. I did. Super Troopers was probably the last one I saw in the
Okay.
theater. That was here. Actually, ironically, I watched that last night. I made my 19-year-old sit down and watch Super Troopers with me last night.
And
Which
how did that go?
he loved it. Well, he didn't
Okay.
love it. He liked it. He liked it enough that he sat and watched the whole thing. Uh, but yeah, Super Troopers for me was I did see that one in the theater, and she's probably talking about Super Troopers 2. I did see that one in the theater, but that one, Super Troopers 2, wasn't quite as good as Super Troopers. But but I think that ultimately she's probably right. That's probably the last one that I saw in the theater that was a comedy. Like I saw it because it was something that I adored and wanted to see it funny. But you asked me about my take on Superman. Um, it it felt like we already had to have an established relationship with this particular Superman. We already had to have a relationship with Lois Lane. Jimmy Olsen, I don't even remember them saying his name, but because I recognized the kid from Righteous Gemstones, I was like, okay, I'll give this a chance. I thought Righteous Gemstones I thought was fantastic.
Yes.
And so it was like, and then the guy that was the head editor or whatever for the Daily Bugle. Nope, not Daily Bugle. Daily Bugle's over in Marvel, isn't it? This is the Daily Beast. No, I
Planet.
can't. Planet, Daily Planet. Um,
The
but
Daily
I,
Beast.
but like I like him. He was in all of the Jack Ryan shows with Kaczynski.
Was it Craig Robinson? Is that,
Yeah,
or I have him
no,
mixed up?
yeah.
No, that wasn't
Craig Robinson was also in The Office
right.
with not Kaczynski. Holy cow,
Ted
Kaczynski was
Kaczynski
the
in The
Unibar.
Office. I
Yeah,
think we have
Ted.
a new show. We have a new show.
I
Pitch it, baby. Pitch it.
arguments could be made. Dwight could have been Ted
Schrute.
Kaczynski. But just Superman, I didn't dislike it. I thought that I thought it was a decent, I thought it was a good Superman movie. It felt like a James Gunn movie to me. Like you talked about the heart and or the emotion in the movie. I felt like the relationship that he had, what he thought he had with his parents, uh, or his biological parents, and then the actual relationship he had with his adopted, the Kents, that was part of an emotional thing. And then him realizing,
I found that whole plot line so predictable. Like
yeah,
when he was sitting out on the porch talking to his dad, I felt like I had read the script ahead of time because I knew exactly what that dad was going to say. I knew exactly how Superman was going to react. And it's like, it's
here's
just so boring.
this is probably the funniest part of that whole exchange between him and I thought that the Kents were some sort of special need family.
Yeah, I think they overacted that country farm bit a little bit too much.
Yeah, a little too much because like when they were on the phone with him, I was like somebody let these two out of their rooms. I don't understand. Like why somebody gave them a phone and let them out of their rooms. And then when we were back at the Kent farm and and Superman is, waking up to the so heavy and unnecessary that it felt it felt like there should be a nurse somewhere adjacent that should be there helping to take care of them. Why does Clark Kent leave his parents at home alone? Like Superman should just be taking care of his parents at this point.
Yeah.
That is kind of what it felt like.
Well,
It was
another thing that annoyed me, and this is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion, but I hated Crypto the dog.
I'm not a
I thought
fan.
that was just so dumb. Like I feel, and I get it that he was in the comics as well, and it's being true to canon. I get that, but Crypto the dog belongs in your animated cartoons.
Yeah.
There was no reason for it to be on film. It made no sense. There was no purpose there. Uh, I just felt it was unnecessarily and completely overdone. And then I have a big plot point that I wanted to ask about. So you remember the very last scene of Superman and Crypto sitting on the moon, staring at the Earth, right? Beautiful scene, well shot. You remember that one, right?
Oh, talking about in the after credits.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
sitting on the moon with Crypto. They're looking at the Earth, right? Gorgeous scene. But then how did the baddies attempt to kill Superman. It was by filling his lungs and making it so that he couldn't breathe.
Right.
Like they were going to try to suffocate him. So apparently he needs oxygen. He needs to be able to breathe. So how is he sitting there on the moon enjoying a snack with his dog, just staring at the Earth when there's no atmosphere or oxygen on the moon?
Great question.
I looked at that and went, I don't even feel it's nitpicking. It just feels like, it was tying back to one of the major plot points in the film.
Yeah.
And there they are just kind of dismissing that it was ever a problem to begin with. And thinking, again, he got the shit beat out of him for 2 straight hours. That was the film. And then, okay, he wins at the end. But for those 2 hours, I'm watching him get beat up. Is that what you want in a Superman film?
I think I always appreciate it when a superhero who, Superman has godlike powers. When they get humbled, if they do have that moment of being humbled, and obviously he got beat by his own he got beat by technology. He got beat by the fact that his crypto system got hacked, that they were able to that Lex had been playing the long game and collected enough DNA to clone him, and and I get spoilers for anybody who hadn't seen it, so sorry, we've already given away too much, but by now it made $120 million this weekend in the US alone.
There's no doubt that it was successful globally,
but yeah, it did seem like Superman was constantly out of his element, that there was he was up against more than he could potentially handle until they
for
finally,
2 hours straight.
Yeah,
for 2 hours straight, he was incompetent man.
But they took out when they did finally take out the technology that was greater than him, then he surpassed it. That was how it felt. It was like the only way that he was going to wind up winning this battle is if, not because he actually won, not because he overcame, but because elements of the other person or the other group had to fall apart in order for him to overcome. So that it didn't feel like it wasn't a very cohesive movie, but
and there were five different superhero good guys.
We had Hawk.
Mr. Terrific, I thought was kind of
he was just as dry as I remember him from the comics.
Yeah, but I've seen that character a million times before.
Mm-hmm.
The sassy black man. I mean, it felt tropey. It really did. But he was fine. The Green Lantern, I liked him.
Nathan Fillion.
The end scene where they went to rescue the country from the war, and then he's out there throwing middle fingers out from the ground. Okay, yeah. I that was probably the only time I laughed out loud during the film. And then Hawker, I just saw was so awful, and when she started screeching at the end, I'm like, "What the hell?
Yeah,
get out of here!" And then the what is the Metamorphosi guy? I forget his character name. The one that, like, the elemental guy, he could like be anything. Oh, he was just a floating head at one point.
Yeah,
at one point he was just a head floating around. Remember that? He was like a floating head. Okay, it's like it was just awful. It just so incoherent. The plot just seemed to be non-existent. They were just making stuff up as they went along.
The engineer was a little rough as a villain, and and then Ultraman, which anyone that watch it, like I if you've ever read the comics and seen Superman's battles with Ultraman, you knew who Ultraman was. You knew.
So I posted my brief opinion about this film over on Threads.
Yeah.
One paragraph saying, and I thought I was being, semi-quippy, and I thought it was a good point. I says, what? That was the worst Superman I'd ever seen. I says, I would rather watch a roided Batman and Superman screaming Martha at each other for 2 straight hours, which is a famously horrible moment in the Zack Snyder world. I said, I would rather watch that than watch the Superman again. And, many agreed, but I would say the majority disagreed. And some of them says, well, apparently you've never seen a movie before. I'm like, well, okay, if you knew me, you knew how stupid that statement was. Especially since I've seen every Superman film in theaters since the 70s, right? I don't profess to be a comic book collector, but I've seen every superhero film, Marvel and DC,
Right.
since the beginning of time. Other comments were obviously I'm stupid or everybody's entitled to an opinion, even a wrong one. Okay, those are fine. But then I got death threats. I did. I was getting comments like, you should kill yourself or
Yeah.
somebody should take you out. Like, I felt like I had wandered into a mega chat room, by accident. And I didn't bring up anything involving, in fact, in my comment, I went completely out of my way to say this has nothing to do with that stupid MAGA woke crap. I find that angle to be completely dumb. I didn't see any of that in this film, and even if there was, I didn't care. Everybody
Sure.
can voice stuff in a film. And so I'm going just based on the merits of a Superman film, and I was getting more violent death threats than I have ever gotten in 10 years of political activism. And it took Superman movie to bring out the worst in people. And I kid you not.
It was obviously it was a weird thing to watch. As far as like some of the things that I was seeing coming down through the thread, Zach's response of the All About Nothing podcast, Zach's response was exactly what I thought Zach's response would be, which was, "Screw you, Bill. I'm gonna go watch it anyway." Because Zach loves everything DC. Like, if I were to try to equate like how much he values his family versus how much he values everything DC does, um, I hate it for his family because DC is always going to win out. No, that's obviously a joke.
At
Zach,
this point, I'm on Team Marvel 100% over DC any day
well,
of the week.
and I'm excited about the Fantastic Four coming out in a couple
Yes.
weeks.
Yes.
I think that I just based purely on the fact that it feels like from the trailers and then some of the things that I've read of the people that have already seen it, they got to see it at the premiere. It feels like Marvel has taken it back to what made Iron Man great, which was it was simplistic. It wasn't the this huge, I don't know, Galactus is in it, but it wasn't always this galactic threat. Galactus has always been part of the Fantastic Four, and it's a very simple thing. He has to eat planets in order to live. Earth is in his way, and the Silver Surfer is the herald, and finds or whatever. So Fantastic Four, but it just from the previews, as long as it doesn't deviate from what you're seeing in the previews and what some people have said that it is, I think that it's probably going to be a good movie and then line us up for the next set of disasters, which will then again go back to feeling like Infinity War and Endgame, which is fine. But
Still the two best films ever made in this genre, by
it's
far.
they're really good. But
They were works of art.
I also like the Spider-Man movies where it's just Spider-Man. Like I'll go back to even though Toby and Toby Gopher, whatever. I'm bad with names. Anyway, those first Spider-Man
the Tobey Maguire guy.
Yeah, they were really good. Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, I thought he was really good. So it's like even Spider-Man is the simplicity of that one hero having to fight himself and
my son and I would always get to this observation because I would take my son to see every Marvel film. We'd enjoy it together. That was our thing. But then we started noticing the pattern in these Marvel films that it always ended up being, the bad guy would be like somebody who had the same powers as the good guy, but just a different colored suit.
Yeah.
Like, and you go through them and it's, even Black Panther, two identically powered individuals just with different color suits fighting it out at the end. Ant-Man, you had the ant and a hornet guy, they were both wearing costumes, just different colors, battling it out all throughout. I mean, even the first Iron Man was two Iron Men battling it out, just in different colored suits. And that's the pattern that it kind of fell into. We would look for it. Now, not every film was like that, but I would say more than half were, and it was funny when it ended up that way. But someday, and I know we're out of time now, I've actually sat and ranked every MCU item, TV series and movie from best to worst.
Okay.
So I may have to take you through my top 5 and my bottom 5
I would be interested in hearing
as I'm
that.
wrapping up that endeavor. Because
I would,
I spent the last 2 years rewatching everything in the order in which they were released. So starting with the first Iron Man and the first Incredible Hulk, and now I'm up to the Marvels, which was the film from 2 years ago. So I have a couple more things to catch up on, but I have them all ranked from best to worst in my mind, and we'll see if I can elicit some more death threats once I reveal my list.
have you watched Ironheart yet?
No, because
Okay.
that was just recently released, so
Yeah.
it's coming up. So I will have it watched within the month here.
Yeah.
And the new Daredevil, I'm looking forward to seeing
Oh,
that.
that was fantastic.
Yeah, because I've seen all the Netflix Marvel properties.
Yeah.
I thought they were. I enjoyed them for the most part, except Iron or Golden Fist or whatever his name was.
Iron Fist, yeah.
Iron Fist. That was just awful. But the rest of them were really good. So I'm looking forward to hitting some of the more recent releases from this year.
My suggestion for comic book writers and movies is do as little, including the word fist in your character names. That would be my suggestion. That would be my suggestion.
They can't do a team up called the Fists.
Too far. The implications are frightening. So, well, Bill, no, I appreciate the fact that we skewed completely away from politics for the day. I feel like
we made
that
it
was
a half an
necessary.
hour without talking about the Epstein list.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Well, I feel like we have proven that we can do it. It's as much as I want to discuss it, I feel like this was a successful.
Well, you know what? Talking movies was a good change. The fact that we could easily fill up a half hour talking about favorite films and comics and death threats. It's all fun topics. I like it.
And if we've learned anything, it's that James Gunn's Kent family is obviously handicapped and in need of assisted living.
Wow. You're gonna get us canceled, buddy.
I am thankful that I was not the only one that kind of felt like that. So
it was slow man pa Kent. It was very slow.
Yeah. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Big thanks for everybody tuning in, watching, listening. Don't forget, you can follow me at barrettgruber and Bill at politicalbillsc. You can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday right here. Until next time, you all be safe, stay kind, and keep your hands to yourself.
Keep your fists to yourself.
No more fists.